Love you guys out there.
Word.
All right, so we just had a little bit of a internet connectivity issue, but sorry about that, guys. But yeah. So what I was saying is the same thing that happened with Earl Thomas. He walked away from the injury, or walked away from holding out, and got injured in the season.
Right.
When
And
the Seahawks weren't giving him.
And that's exactly what his point was.
Right.
Was that why risk an injury when I should be getting paid?
So it's understandable, and I get it, but I'm just salty because I drafted
a contract.
I'm salty because I drafted Le'Veon Bell in my fantasy league, and
Wow. Yeah.
I'm salty about it. So.
Well, but the other thing is that
You got to redo all that.
I don't really know the specifics about the contracts, because it's a lot like the coaching. Like what I said, I don't really follow the coaching. I don't really follow the contracts either.
Right.
I just watch the games.
Right.
But if you already signed a contract, you agreed to do your job for X amount of money.
Right. And walking away from that is not. I think walking away from your contract is that's going to make him look bad later to other teams.
Right. And I think that would hurt your
reputation or
sellability, or your stock with other teams. The same thing that I feel like Richard Sherman did when he did that big not ESPN, Sports Illustrated magazine article,
right,
during just before the preseason. It's like, okay, you got traded, man. Deal with it.
Right.
But just immediately going back and then talking a bunch of crap about the team you just played for and gave you a chance when no one else would.
Yeah, that's really crummy to do, dude.
I mean, if you're bitter, you're pissed, whatever, that's fine. That's understandable. I would be too. But what if it doesn't work out in San Francisco and you got to go to another team? And then all of a sudden another team is like, well,
this guy's just going to
we don't want to end up in Sports Illustrated, so
yeah,
we're good.
Right.
Understandable. Somebody else.
Understandable. I totally get that, dude. Totally get that. I don't know if you watched the Monday Night Football game.
I did.
Did you hear Booger McFarland, bro? Booger said on Monday Night Football that Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer quarterback.
I did hear that.
And has only made the playoffs 2 seasons. And the two seasons that he won a Super Bowl, which is absolutely incorrect.
Right.
He went to the playoffs 2005, 2006, 2007. And in 2007, they won the Super Bowl. Then he went to the playoffs in 2008. And then 2011, they went to the Super Bowl again and won. And they went in 2016.
Honestly, I don't know what that guy's talking about.
I don't know what that guy. I don't understand why that guy is commentating for Monday Night Football if that's the case.
I mean,
how do you get away with that?
His record for career or for games started alone
was amazing.
Should at least get him in the conversation of the Hall of Fame.
Right. I totally agree with that. And the only reason why that ended was because Ben McAdoo benched him last year.
For a stupid reason.
And it didn't even pay off.
His fault.
And it didn't even pay off.
No, they still lost that game.
Yeah, didn't even pay off. And
they didn't even bench him for the whole game. They benched him for a quarter.
And then brought him back
in. So I don't even think it was a quarter. I think it was just a couple plays, but he didn't technically start the game.
Yeah. So he lost his...
So his whole record went out the window because of, I don't know, personal issues, something. I don't know what it was.
A ridiculous...
I can't speculate on that, behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, no, but nobody can. But yeah, that whole thing is just ridiculous.
Eli isn't a Hall of Famer, Joe says. I think he is, man. I think it's...
I think he is as much as Joe Flacco is.
I think Joe Flacco is a Hall of Famer as well. I'm not saying these guys are going to get first-round ballots, but, I mean...
But I think they will eventually end up in the Hall of Fame.
For sure. I think so, too. And, I think, making the playoffs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, however, and winning 2 Super Bowls and that Iron Man streak that he had,
Right.
it's definitely contendable. I'm not saying he's the Eli Manning of old, but
No, and it doesn't matter how many times it does matter how many times he makes the playoffs, but you can't look at it as like a ratio of he's spent so many years in the league and
didn't make the playoffs,
whatever.
Right.
You can't look at it like that. It's like, how did he play?
Right. And I think he's played well enough to be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
And can you really put all the blame on him for the years that they didn't make the playoffs?
No.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Maybe some of the
Some
games,
of it, for sure.
but
Eli
not-
like 2 or 3 years ago, was throwing picks like it was,
Like it was
candy
cool.
getting handed
Yeah.
out on Halloween. Like,
True.
Like it's a new fashion or something. So I could totally understand why somebody would think that he's not, but
But I think over his career, his stats are going to speak for themselves, and he's going to.
I think he'll end up in there.
I definitely think he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Well, while we're speaking about Hall of Fame players, this guy's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I don't know why anybody would even try to dispute this one, but Larry Fitzgerald last week passed Terrell Owens on the all-time receiving yard leaders, making him the second most yards in career, with the greatest all-time Jerry Rice left to pass, which I don't think he's going to pass Jerry Rice. He's a little ways away.
Yeah, and he's getting pretty old.
And that was going to be my next thing was I don't know how much more time does Larry Fitzgerald have left in the NFL. And one of the greater wide receivers I've ever watched. But, yeah, he passed Terrell Owens. It's quite a feat.
Actually, and a lot of records have been set this past weekend because Drew Brees just passed Brett Favre for the most touchdown passes in his career. And Russell Wilson also is among – they mentioned it during the game, and I can't remember exactly how they worded it, but it was like in the first 7 years, he accomplished, I think it was the most touchdown passes in the first 7 years. But anyway, he was right up there with Joe Montana and another guy that I am blanking on his name at the moment.
Okay.
And all of that is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think
I wish I could I should have wrote it down because it was the company that he's keeping right now, or with that stat, is pretty impressive.
Right. The guy in the blue, Joe, is actually looking up stuff for us while we're talking.
Justin.
His name's Justin, and he's our off-screen guy who occasionally likes to, add in his 2 cents, which, is always good information as well. But we have him look up stuff in case we need to, fact check, and he's also promoting while we're doing this. So he is doing other things.
And he has a really annoying voice, so that's why we don't let him talk.
He's hushed. Sure, he best Patriots when 18-0. Right, exactly, Dean. The Patriots were on their undefeated season, and Eli Manning,
He
won the Super Bowl and stopped them from, ultimately winning every game that season. Let's go Jets. I like it. The Jets looked pretty awesome this week. No, just kidding. That was rough, dude. The Bills, man. But yeah, go Jets, I guess. Have it. You can have it. Peyton Manning, so that Peyton Manning got passed. He's only got 30 more before he passes Peyton Manning. Or Brett Favre got passed. He's only got 30 more behind Peyton. If he plays one more season, I think he could be the all-time touchdown guy. For sure.
Yeah. And the way Drew Brees is looking right now, I don't see another year as a problem.
I don't think, he looks pretty darn good right now.
Wow.
And
Brett Favre. Drew Brees is having just a monster of a season.
Yeah, no, and I think they're Super Bowl contenders this year, man. I think they'll outbeat the Rams. That's just my opinion on that.
I wasn't sure until I saw him play the Chiefs as well, and I was like, "Whoa!"
MVPs
Man.
for this season. Who's your MVP for this season?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker. Oh my God, bro! Stop it. If I if I was making a pick, Breeze for MVP. If I was gonna make a pick, I would say either Breeze or Mahomes. That would be my picks.
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna make a serious pick, I would lean Breeze.
Let's go Browns. I like it, Kimberly. I like it.
Another Brown fan.
Another Brown fan.
That just sounds weird.
But it sounds so good.
Hey.
Another thing that happened this week, the Colts won 3 straight. This game that they just played made them win 3 straight, and that's the first time that they've done that since 2015, dude. Isn't that crazy?
Somebody called the Colts.
Somebody called the Colts? Yeah, I like it.
I don't know who that
like
was.
the Gary Payton shirt. Thank you, Justin. What is Eli's overall record as a starter? Somebody would like to know that. You want to try and search that one up?
Yep.
Snake and bake for MVP. Okay.
No, shake
and bake.
Shake and bake for
Okay.
MVP.
Okay, okay, my bad. I don't. What was shake and bake? What's the
Ricky
shake
Bobby?
and bake? Ricky Bobby, shake and bake. Okay, all
What's the
right.
question?
So what is Eli's overall record as a starter? How about them boys, man? The Cowboys. Yo,
Sit down, Junior.
I'm not Indy, man. I'm not sold on it yet.
on Indy or on the Cowboys.
On the Cowboys at all. Like I couldn't touch that like with somebody else's stick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Mahomes.
But I'm biased because I straight up don't like the Cowboys.
I was gonna say Mahomes for the MVP because he literally last week set the franchise record for the Chiefs for most touchdowns in a single season, and the season's not even over yet. So I think he's definitely carrying these guys, and I think he's definitely an MVP candidate, if not Breeze. Not Breeze.
For career, he has 350 touchdowns.
No, his record, like his
record.
win-loss record.
Oh.
The Bills got the largest road win that they've had since week 1 of 2011. Go Jets, right? The Bills, man. I picked the Jets to win. I'm not gonna bash on the Jets. I picked the Jets to win.
I think I also picked the Jets to win.
because the Bills weren't scoring touchdowns the last 2 or 3
the
weeks.
Bills
and then
look like garbage.
and they came out and just smashed, dude. I don't
Yeah,
know what happened.
Yeah, they were just like, I don't know what they did, but
It was interesting to watch, and I actually bet on that game, and I really, really am upset that I did because I lost some money.
I think a lot of people lost money on that
Yeah,
game.
most definitely. And I even bet on the Patriots game. I was like, the Patriots are gonna beat the Titans. The Titans beat the Patriots for the first time since 2002
And not just by a little.
by a decent amount.
No,
The win-loss record
they.
for Eli Manning is 121 and 114. So he has a winning record.
Yeah. Oh. Well, and they were talking about that because during that game, because they were talking about Hall of Fame quarterbacks and their records getting in the Hall of Fame, and I think they were saying there was only one quarterback that had a losing record in the Hall of Fame.
And who is that? Don't know? I don't know the answer to that either.
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath. Did he have a losing record?
I think
That's
so.
crazy,
I think
bro.
I think he was 64 and
You should
68.
look up Joe Namath's career record. Kimberly says, so who will be the Browns' next head coach? I don't know.
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka. They need somebody like Mike Ditka.
Or maybe they'll get Mike Leach.
Mike Leach. I think they should just get Byron Leftwich, you know?
Right. I mean, he's doing great
in Arizona.
And,
Yeah.
Just burn it down.
What was the last name?
Namath. Joe Namath. What do you think the Giants go after in a quarterback and free agent, or in a free agent Teddy Bridgewater or another? I think they should sign, and this is just how I'm thinking, is I think they should sign somebody who has a little bit of tenure in the NFL, somebody who has started games like Teddy Bridgewater, and draft a quarterback. I think they should draft a quarterback and have this guy get molded until, say, Teddy Bridgewater plays until he can't really play anymore, and then pop this new quarterback in there. That's just my thought process on that one, because I don't think Teddy Bridgewater can be the face of the Giants after Eli for a while. So did I. Mike lost some money. Coaching in NY is embarrassing. Yep. I think it's looking pretty bad right now, man.
Yeah, and to touch on that, I think you draft a quarterback.
I think you draft a quarterback too, but
I don't think you pick up a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. I think
the success of the new quarterbacks that are coming in and starting immediately, other than Mahomes, who's doing good?
Yeah, but look at, because the Packers drafted Rodgers, and then he was the reliever for Favre for a couple of years. Backup. Sorry.
No, you're
Think
good.
of baseball.
You're good. Yeah, no, you're good.
So he was the backup for Favre for a couple of seasons, 4 or 5 seasons.
A couple, yeah,
somewhere in there. I think I don't know how long Manning's going to continue to play, but who better to shape a young quarterback
than Eli?
I mean, why not?
I don't think.
Is he to Brett Favre caliber?
No.
But is he better than Teddy Bridgewater? Yes.
Yeah, I will co-sign that statement for sure. I actually like your thought process there, and I think that you've actually changed my mind to thinking. I think they should draft a quarterback instead of bringing in somebody like Teddy Bridgewater. You've changed my mind on that.
Now, there are a lot of teams out there, not to bash on Teddy Bridgewater, that could use him.
Absolutely.
And he's a good player, and he could have value to a lot of different teams.
You said where?
It's in the fine print right there.
Okay, so 64, 64, and 4. He had a even record, 54, 54. Hall of Fame, historic
that's
value.
not what Booger reported.
Booger,
he said it was like 64 and 68.
That's about Joe Namath, not Eli.
Yeah.
But
Going back.
Saints versus who in the Super Bowl? I would probably say a lot of people are going to be surprised when I say this, but I've been saying this since like week 3, week 4. The Chargers are the dark horse of the AFC, and I think they're going to the Super Bowl. If they don't go to the Super Bowl, it's probably going to be Kansas City.
And all right, you want to pick them as your dark horse, that's fine. Their victory over the Seahawks was their first victory with a team with a winning record in 2 years.
I'm sorry, say that again. I was reading comments.
Their victory over the Seahawks was their first victory in 2 years over a team with a winning record.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. Okay.
So
I'm on the same page as you. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see the Chargers do good. I have zero bones to pick with Phillip Rivers and that whole thing.
The Chargers, since winning that game, though, the Chargers have the best start to a season in their franchise since 2006. So I know
that's great, but if you're starting against garbage teams that don't have at least a 500 record,
they play the same people as Kansas City. They're in the same division.
Same thing, though. I think Kansas City's numbers might be slightly inflated.
Okay, all right, understandable. But they're blowing people out of the water where, the Chargers aren't really. Don't you dare do it. Namath is in the Hall of Fame for historic value. He bridged both leagues in the NFL. Okay, all right. That makes sense.
I'm not talking anything about Joe Namath. The guy was great. All I'm saying is that if you're just going on record,
yeah, no,
he had a 500 record.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he did a bunch of other stuff. He was a great quarterback. Look at Dan Marino.
Okay.
Never won a Super Bowl. He made the playoffs one time. One of the best quarterbacks
ever. I totally agree with that, man. How about Jacoby Brissett from the Colts? Jacoby Brissett actually might look good in New York. I could see that. He doesn't
Teddy to Jacksonville.
To Jacksonville.
That would be a good fit.
Blake Bortles needs to be. How does that guy still have a job?
I have no clue.
Is beyond me. I don't
know.
Beyond my knowledge, man. I don't. Somebody is looking out for that guy. The Redskins got their best start got their best record since 2008 with a win over the Bucs this week. And they're sitting at 6-3. I think Adrian Peterson looks phenomenal right now, dude.
Agreed.
He's looking good, dude.
Agreed, 100%.
He's not the Vikings Adrian Peterson of old, but for how old the guy is,
the guy's
he's looking good.
35 years old?
Yeah, he's looking good, man. For how old he is and how much injury he's gone through.
Oh, yeah.
I totally.
And if he doubt his health, I mean, look back, what was that, 2 weeks ago? That 90-yard run he had?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's looking good.
Yeah.
The Rams top the Hawks and get their best record at 9-1 since 1969, dude. How about that? If the Saints don't get into the Super Bowl, it's going to be because of the Rams. And I know I'm saying just stuff that is obvious to everybody, but this team looks good right now, and I'm really disappointed in that Seahawks game that just happened.
So let's be honest. The Seahawks are getting better, but
they're running out of time.
And the Rams played a close game against a team that, let's be honest, is getting better, but isn't that good.
That's true.
The Saints are an established team, and they look good.
Not only are they an established team, but they're even still trying to make moves to make them look better. Like that Dez sign, other than him tearing his Achilles, that was a great move. And they saw that they were lacking in the wide receiver 3 position. They signed Brandon Marshall. Did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah, they signed Brandon Marshall because Dez went down. They signed Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall isn't a horrible wide receiver.
No.
But I don't think he's Dez Bryant. Still, they're an established team making moves, and I like it. That's why I'm taking the Saints over the Rams. That's why I'm saying the Rams.
That was going to be my point there,
not
too.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Is that, the Rams are having close games against games that probably shouldn't be that close.
Right.
Although, since I am currently wearing this shirt, I do have to bring to light that the Super Bowl that the Seahawks won, a lot of those games could have gone either way.
That's very true. They had luck on their side.
A lot of those games were decided by a field goal, by
or
2 points,
stupid
3
turnover
points,
that the other team made.
Something.
Yeah. I want to break it down, that Seahawks game. What is your thought process on what happened, man? Like, I'm just like, it's really frustrating to watch this because I know the team's getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's frustrating to see, like, okay, you look at it, on paper first. Okay, they scored their first drive. Great. The reason that drive was continued was because of Rams penalties. Twice.
Yep. And that was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams only got 2 penalties, 3 penalties, and something like that. No, I think it was
until the last half. Then they kind of
started.
They got a
little
roughing the
scuffle.
passer, and
Yeah,
I think they got some other stuff. But
I was gonna say 2 or 3 penalties in that beginning, and then they started playing really like
they played really tight football,
yeah.
and they played good football, and they were just good enough to just be like,
Yeah.
no.
The Seahawks rushing game looks better and better
And as does the offensive line.
by every week. Yeah, and that was another thing I was going to say. By every week, I see the Seahawks run game getting better and better, and that offensive line is starting to like if.
And let's not forget, we didn't even have Chris Carson this week.
No, that was Rashad Penny doing most of the work.
Yeah, it was Rashad Penny and Mike Davis.
Russell Wilson was averaging 10.2 yards a carry when he ran the ball, and Penny got 108 yards plus a touchdown with an average of 9 yards per carry. So this running game is looking good, and I'm pretty sure the Seahawks are in first in rushing. So if they can just get the ball down the field and convert on third down. They were 22% on third down, dude.
The third downs are killing them.
Third down is killing them. Seattle got 7 penalties and 4 sacks allowed against the Rams, dude. Like, they're just, like, I don't know what's going on. And one of them was on a third down and 3 with 10 minutes left. Yeah, that's unacceptable. Like, you're giving up the sack in the red zone on 3rd and 5. And you have to settle for a field goal. That's what's costing them the games that they're losing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Dean says, is Herbert real deal for New York Giants, or will Greer get better? I'm not really sure.
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Rams had 10 penalties with over 102 yards.
Okay, so the Rams weren't playing that knit tight. I'm not really sure, Dean.
It seemed like they were until the second half, and then it seemed like they were stacking up the penalties. But...
Yeah, well, I mean, and like I was saying, the Seahawks got 22% on third down, while the Rams were 50%. That's a huge difference. Busted third down and 15 with Roberts wide open. That coverage was horrible. Roberts down the field. That's just unacceptable football for them to, like, if they're trying to get in the playoffs, that's not how they're going to do it. And I don't know why you call an onside kick with 10 minutes left in the game in the fourth quarter when you're down by 2. They gave them excellent field position, and it ended up giving them 3 points. I mean, the defense held good, which is why I don't know why why are you kicking it an onside kick when Sebastian Janikowski is horrible at onside kicks. Horrible. I don't think it's been so long since he's gotten an onside kick that turned out good for them.
Yeah, I think it was because they did talk about that, and I think it was. It's been since his 3rd or 4th year in the NFL, and I mean he's had 80 of them since he's had a successful onside kick.
Right. That third down with third down and 3 with 6 minutes left, and the Seahawks fumbled that ball. Like, that was what ultimately cost them the game, man. That's what I think. Russell Wilson was standing in the pocket, and he held the ball for too long. The guy was running 10 yards average when he broke out of the pocket and went for the first down. I don't know why that pocket was collapsing, and he continued to hold on to the ball instead of getting out of there or throwing it away.
Yeah.
What upsets me the most?
And stop the clock.
What upsets me the most is when he is doing that, it's when they're in a 2-minute drill and he's throwing the ball away when he doesn't have time to be throwing the ball away or shouldn't be.
And the other thing that irritated me with that was the clock management. When we got to short time, then it was like, okay, you just caught the ball in the middle of the field. That's not the time to be doing your little juke moves and spin arounds and trying to gain extra yards. Go down.
And not only that,
just catch the ball, go down.
When that happens, these guys are so slow to get back to the line to let him spike the ball or to run another play.
Yeah. Half the time, it seems like when we've gotten to these, short time situations, he doesn't have time to get that extra play off. He has to spike the ball because they're so freaking slow
And you run
getting
out of-
back to the line.
And you don't have an extra play anymore, and they're bad on third down.
Or you have to burn a timeout that
It's-
could be used some other way, but you're just like,
playing
I
a-
got time.
Yeah, when you don't
You
have
don't have the time.
it's ridiculous. Seattle's schedule is Green Bay in Seattle, then Carolina in Carolina, the 49ers in Seattle, Minnesota in Seattle, the 49ers in San Francisco, then KC in KC, and Arizona in Seattle. These guys, with the remaining schedule, if the Hawks don't beat Green Bay, I honestly don't know if they're going to make it to the playoffs with the upcoming schedule. You got to think they're going to lose in Carolina. You got to think they're going to lose in Kansas City. That's already 2 losses, and Green Bay is definitely fighting for a wild card position. If these guys don't win in Green Bay or win against Green Bay this week, I think the season's over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
You think so?
I think if the Hawks defense doesn't step it up with their
I don't even
coverage-
really think it's the Seahawks defense. I think it's the play calling, because when Robert Woods got that 3rd down and 15 wide open in the middle of the field, they were playing zone coverage for God, what reason, instead of just trying to cover that line. They were like off doing a zone instead of trying to cover the 1st down. It was ridiculous. Tell 4-3 rest of the way. Unfortunately, I kind of see that too.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the schedule, I mean,
1, 2,
they'll probably
3,
beat San
4.
Francisco twice. They'll probably beat Arizona.
The problem is Arizona and San Francisco know the Seahawks so well that they always give them trouble.
Yeah, you can't count on those games either, even though those teams are garbage this year, because they always play. It's
they
just
play
like
2 times a year.
Well, it's just like we were talking about with the Rams.
The Rams always give them trouble, even when they're bad.
Even when they're bad,
yeah,
it's just like,
always gives them trouble.
We beat the Rams by a point.
They play well most at the end of the season. It's true. When December rolls around, the Seahawks really show up. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, but this year may very well be a case of too little, too late.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case here.
And honestly, I'm okay with that as a Seattle fan, because I think probably what's going to be best for the Seahawks is to not make the playoffs, and that would give them a little kick in the ass to be like, hey, we don't want to go back to 1994 when we won 5 games.
Right. I totally agree with that. Good statement, man. All right, so, I feel like we talked enough about the news of the NFL.
Okay.
Do you want to move into our picks?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's jump right
So
in.
this is where we're going to start doing picks for the week. Buys are Buffalo, Cleveland, Miami, New England, New Jersey, or the New York Jets, and San Francisco. So the first game on Thursday will be Green Bay in Seattle, and I'm taking Seattle because if they don't win, I think this season's over.
And I think they know it.
I think they know it too.
And
Green Bay hasn't looked.
they haven't looked good.
They haven't looked as good as they do normally.
They haven't looked as good as they should.
But there are games where they show up, and it could always happen to Seattle. And Seattle always has these games where they need to win it, and they do something stupid like fumble the ball like they did last week against –
I think the Seahawks win it by a field goal.
You think so?
Mhm.
Close game? All right. I'm taking the Seahawks, though,
I'm
too.
gonna take the Seahawks too.
You're taking the Seahawks? All right. Cincinnati versus Baltimore,
Cincinnati.
and this one's in Baltimore. You're taking Cincinnati?
Yeah, I'll take Cincinnati.
I'm taking Cincy also.
I'm taking Baltimore.
You're taking Baltimore?
I don't know why, but I feel it in my gut.
I like, and I keep saying this, I like what's going on in Cincinnati, but you keep telling me they're going to start coughing it up, and they're going to do bad. AJ Green's hurt, so I think that connection's not there.
Oh,
yeah, AJ Green's hurt, so.
Ooh, and I forgot about, the Stomps. The Saints, what they did was a stomping on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So,
Taking Baltimore?
No, I'm going to switch it up, even though Andy Dalton's a ginge. See how he sneaked it in there? I'm going to go with Cincinnati because, I think they're going to come back after that just ass whipping.
Williams taking Baltimore. Okay. Yeah, I think.
And I think Cincinnati's going to come out and play with a purpose.
I think so, too.
And I think it's going to be another close game, but I'm going to give this one to Cincinnati. I forgot about that
that game, that massacre.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
the Alamo didn't have shit on that. Wow.
Okay, so the next one will be Dallas versus Atlanta in Atlanta. I don't really think either of these teams have been looking too hot.
Going Atlanta.
I'm going Atlanta as well, just because of home field advantage.
Yeah.
Atlanta and who?
Dallas.
Ooh, yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay, all three are picking Atlanta here. So we're going to move on to Tampa Bay versus the New York Giants. That's going to be an interesting game.
That is going to be interesting. Honestly, I could see that one going either way.
Either way, yeah.
Like, I might as well just flip a coin on that one.
I'm picking Tampa Bay just because I feel Baltimore blowout. I like it, William. I'm gonna pick Tampa Bay just because I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna come out there and have one of those crazy games that he does. So I'm picking Tampa Bay.
I'm Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Giants. Okay, I like it. Okay, Pittsburgh versus Jacksonville in Jacksonville. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Man,
Atlanta by 7.
Pittsburgh is on what
Tampa Bay
a
by
5-game win streak now.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling with Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh look good.
Yes,
Thursday.
they did.
Going to Jacksonville.
For one of the, first times.
Okay.
It seems like it's been a long time since Pittsburgh has really looked
this
good.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah,
this past weekend.
Moving on to Houston versus Washington. I like how well Washington has been playing. And it is in Washington, so I'm taking the home field here. I'm going Washington. You think Houston's going to win?
Oh, yeah. Houston's won this one.
All right. We'll see. We'll see.
For sure.
Pittsburgh, Williams says. Okay. Pittsburgh, so who are you taking? You're taking Houston?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to Tennessee versus Indy. Tennessee just got off of a huge win against New England, but I'm still going to take Indy because Indy's looking like they're finally getting the Pistons going. A little late, but I'm taking Andrew Luck and the Colts.
I agree with you, and this season has been so hit and miss for the Titans. They
win games that they shouldn't,
and then they lose games that they should.
And just biff it so bad.
Yeah. So I'm going to put my money on the not great, but more consistent team in the Colts.
Indianapolis, right. Okay. Carolina is on the road heading to Detroit. Who do you got in that one? Carolina. I think there's no question here.
Detroit.
You're taking Detroit?
Yeah.
All right, man. Okay. I'm taking definitely Carolina. They've definitely looked a lot better.
I would really like Detroit.
That's good. I like that.
To win.
I kind of want Detroit to win too, just because I like the idea of Matt Patricia being there and being their head coach, and I don't want to see him get fired at the end of the season.
No,
so I think he needs to win a couple more. But
and I think
I don't think this is going to be the game.
I think potentially he is a good coach.
Yeah,
and more importantly, Matt Patricia aside, I want to watch Cam Newton cry.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that guy. He's a decent dude off the field, but
Yeah, but he just he's rubbed me the wrong way during some Seahawks games. So
I feel you. I understand that.
Anytime that I can root against him, I'm going to take that opportunity. I just don't feel like this weekend is that time to root against him.
I'm with it too. Oakland versus Arizona.
What about Denver?
Oh, you're right. Denver versus the Chargers, and it's in Los Angeles.
Chargers.
Detroit upset. I like it. I'm also taking the Chargers. I don't think there's a question there. Though it is a divisional match, I'm also going to take the Chargers, you guys. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can't discount the divisional match. I mean, look how hard Oakland and Denver
Try and do that.
normally play each other.
Right. I'm going to move us right along to Oakland versus Arizona. And this one's in Arizona. So they're both pretty bad teams right now. It's kind of a train wreck to watch.
I just feel like what they've done in Oakland, it just ripping that team open.
Doesn't look, yeah. I think they're taking a knife into that organization and just pulling it all out, and they're gonna restuff it. And make
They really
5-year
are.
runway.
And yeah, I hope that works out for them. And I want to pick the Raiders in this one, but I think I'm going to go Cards on this one.
SD big. You're going to go Cards? I'm also taking Cardinals. Unfortunately, I always like to see somebody else in the West lose. I'm taking the Cardinals. Who are you taking, Justin?
Oh,
Oakland? Okay. I was going to say Oakland versus Arizona. I don't know if you were paying attention or not. Philadelphia versus New Orleans.
New Orleans.
I'm taking New Orleans, hands down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Philly.
You're an
You can
idiot.
go for
Yes,
Philly?
I'm a Phillies fan.
Oh, you're a Philly? What?
What?
What are you talking about?
You would be.
Oh, you're a Philly fan because they won the Super Bowl
You're a
this
Philly
year?
fanatic?
Last year?
No.
Go Birds!
Okay, so let's move right along because I don't even like if Philadelphia wins, I might have to start rethinking my thought
all my
process
life choices.
on New Orleans. Minnesota versus Chicago. In Chicago, Chicago's looking good. Trubisky's looking good. I'm sticking with the Chicago Bears. The Bears this season are doing pretty decent.
They're doing okay. And, you know, they had a good win there against Detroit.
It looked good for sure.
I think they're going to continue that role. And I too, am going to go with the Bears.
Okay, all right. What's the next one? What's the next one? Okay, so the last one is Kansas City versus Los Angeles Rams, the big hitter. And the big news from this game already is it's supposed to be played in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
But it got
Shakira
moved.
ruined it.
Because, was it Shakira?
Well,
Is that one of the concerts?
It was a
They
combination.
played a bunch of football games there too. Not football, but soccer.
Yeah.
So
Football with the U. Yeah, no, but yeah.
so it's moved back into LA.
That was the big joke, was that it was a Shakira concert. But
Oh, okay.
and
Philly
Shakira
upset,
did play
Minnesota.
or do a
She
concert
did do
there.
a concert there?
Yeah. But yeah, it was the football matches or soccer matches. This isn't Europe. And also, apparently they've been hit with some pretty substantial rain in Mexico
City.
So
So it's bad
that ruined
field
the
conditions. So they're moving into Los Angeles, which will give the Rams a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, it will. And I think the Rams defense is just going to be a little bit too much for the Cincinnati offense.
Really?
I do.
Okay, well, I'm picking Kansas City because
I'm going Rams.
was thinking the exact opposite. I think the offense of Kansas City was a little bit too much for the Rams defense. So we'll go ahead and check that next week.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one.
That's going to be a super good game. I'm finally excited about a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, no, this year's Monday Night Football games have been
Trash.
rather disappointing.
They've been disappointing. They've been garbage.
Garbage. Jeez.
Like, oh, hold on. Let me check the 49ers and the Giants.
Yeah, that's a super fun game
cares?
to watch on Monday night. Who are you taking, Justin?
Who's playing?
Rams and the Chiefs.
Rams and the Chiefs.
Oh, Chiefs. I hate the Rams.
Chiefs? All right. Okay, so those are our picks, man. I didn't really see anything for the MLB that was worthy of talking about.
No.
There wasn't really much to talk about in the MLB, and then
There probably won't be for another couple of weeks.
I don't think that's going to be the case. Transactions are going to be happening and the free agency is going to be happening. So
Right.
a few weeks from now, we'll start talking about that again. But you got anything to talk about on hockey or NBA?
Like I said, I was watching rugby yesterday, so I didn't.
How was that?
Okay. Well, I was watching some clips from the men's Eagles performance,
Mm-hmm.
and they beat Samoa. And since I know you don't know rugby all that well, and I'm just starting getting into international rugby,
Okay.
so this is also new ground for me. Usually, I've been watching college rugby for the last couple of years, so
Okay.
I'm still learning it. But this is the first time that they've beat Samoa, and Samoa, Fiji, and Australia are always really good rugby teams.
Okay.
And actually, Fiji won the last
Like 2 or 3?
World Cup of
Okay.
rugby, essentially.
That's like their Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And the men's Eagles won 30-29. Here, let me just pull up my cheat sheet here. So it's the first time in history they won by penalty kicks,
Okay.
or a penalty kick by Will Hooley, or however you pronounce his name. Team USA, or the Eagles, they scored the first 15 points, and then there was a scrum in the USA, or a penalty in the USA scrum. Samoa kicked the ball deep into USA territory, and they ended up scoring a try out of that, which made the score 15-7.
Okay.
And then Samoa scores back-to-back tries, making it 15-21.
So it's getting really close. Okay.
Well, at this point, Samoa is ahead,
Right.
21-15.
Okay.
Then Cam Dolan claims a restart on the Samoan end of the field and scores a try. That makes it 20-21.
Okay.
Okay, then Samoa, they score after the half. So now it's 20-26.
Okay.
Then Cam Dolan intercepts the ball and scores another try, making it 27-26. The Samoans kick 3-point because of penalties.
So they were just like kind of letting Samoa come back in it from penalties type of a situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
The refs called a couple of penalties on the Eagles.
Okay.
And then Samoa got a penalty kick.
Okay.
More or less like a field goal.
Okay.
And so now the score is 27-29.
Ooh.
On the final play, the refs called a penalty on Samoa, allowing the Eagles to get a final kick. That ended the game in a 30-29 win for the Eagles over Samoa.
That's good.
And that means that the USA Eagles are unbeaten in test matches. And because of that win, they're 9-1 on the season.
So how long is the season for that? What is the reference point on when it says they're 9-1? How long is the season?
Well, that depends on the number of players on the field because there's 15s and 7s.
Okay.
So, and like I said, I'm just getting into the international realm of rugby.
Right.
So, like, the MLR, Major League Rugby in USA, has not started yet.
Okay.
So this is more of like a soccer layout that I'm still kind of
Trying
learning
to figure
about.
out. Yeah.
So I don't really know the answer to that question.
Okay.
And what a test match is, I'm also not 100% sure on.
Okay.
But that is the important rugby news.
I like it.
Of the week.
I like it. Maybe I need to start watching some rugby.
Dude, it is an awesome sport, and you should absolutely try and watch some.
Justin, how about you tell me about how the Sounders did? Did the Sounders
slide over and let him go?
Yeah.
Oh man. They lost to the Timbers. So
They lost to the Timbers.
So they're no longer in the playoffs.
So what happened?
They scored 3, and I believe the Timbers scored 2. We needed one more goal to win, but it was technically a tie because the Timbers scored 3 in the first leg, and we only scored 1.
So does it work that if you score X goals in the first leg, it carries over to the next match that you play?
Yeah, so we needed 4 goals
Mm-hmm.
to beat the Timbers, and we
Okay.
only got 3. So into overtime, nobody scored. The Timbers thought they won, and it was really funny because they were all excited. They thought they won, and they figured out they didn't win yet. And so it went to penalty kicks.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're like telling everybody like, "Calm down, we haven't won. We got
It's not over. It's not over. And then they lost in the penalty
We
kicks.
lost the penalty kicks because Bruin hit the outer goal post, which is one of our like best strikers.
That's a heartbreak, dude.
And then Alonso went in and did like a little, I don't know what kind of kick he did, but right to the goalie.
Oh,
and
man.
So yeah, we lost.
That's
and
brutal.
It was pretty sad, but the Sounders have gone to the MLS Cup twice in a row. One year, lost the other last year to the same team. It was like a
Okay.
rematch type thing. It was both in Canada.
That sucks, dude.
So maybe next year.
When's the season start again?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question.
don't know?
I have to look
Okay.
that up.
We'll look that up. Did you watch any hockey in all this?
I haven't watched any hockey.
You haven't watched any
No.
hockey? How about you, Eric? You watched any hockey?
No, like I said, I was
Just mostly rugby?
Yeah, I was focusing on that rugby match, and so that took up my not football time
Okay. Well,
with trying to watch. And I did want to mention also that the women's it's kind of like the women's minor league rugby team. They also beat England, so
okay.
they're also doing
Really well.
doing well.
That's good. I like to hear that. I need to start paying attention to some rugby, man.
It's confusing.
I'll get it figured out.
I mean, not
It's
the,
just, it's
the
gotta be
matches. The matches aren't confusing, but you know how like hockey has like the junior hockey and then has the like
amateur dudes.
yeah
and stuff like that.
amateur and then like the
like farm teams.
yeah like the farm
Yeah,
teams. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if that's what you call them in hockey or not, but
Mhm.
and then the NHL. At least what I've been able to decipher so far from my expedition to learn rugby is that that's what rugby's like, but there's also 2 different types.
Okay.
So there's 15s where there's 15 players,
That's a lot, dude.
and then there's 7s where
Okay.
there's obviously 7 players.
Right.
So, and there's different seasons for that, and how the rankings and how it would equate to like more
How
of a,
long the
more
season
of a
is or
football
whatever.
match is,
Right.
or how a soccer layout is.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure that stuff out.
Okay. Okay.
But
I like it. Well, if you were paying attention to any of the hockey, we could talk about it. But I did make a 5-team, like top 5 teams, and I gave a little bit of information, and I got a little bit off of CBS.com. But I'm going to do a 5 NHL team power ranking real quick.
okay,
And maybe this will give you a little bit of an idea of some teams to check out and watch.
I'm guessing the Senators are on
The Senators are not on it.
it.
All right, so number 1 would be
should
Nashville,
talk
the
about
Predators. Ooh, dude, I don't know if we should.
Well, let's do it. Why
Okay,
not?
all right, go ahead.
Oh no, finish your
Okay,
thing,
all right.
and then we'll talk about it after.
Nashville is basically perfect right now. They could do a little bit better at home, but other than what they normally do is just dominate at home. They're not doing it right now, But other than that, the team looks perfect, and that's why they're getting my number one right now. Nashville looks almost unbeatable. Tampa Bay gets Victor Hedman back, the Lightning, and they would do just fine without him, but could use the boost. With him coming back, they will definitely be getting bumped up into the ratings if Nashville starts to not play as well at home as they have been. Minnesota Wild will get, if they get more shots on goal, it's simple, but yes, regardless of their middling scoring rates, but the attempts on the goal would make them do a lot better, and especially if they're doing it on the road. I'm going to give 4 spot to Boston. The Bruins, bringing the production on the road would definitely help them. I think they're doing really well at home, and you should pay attention to when they're playing at home, because this is like a definite like Stanley Cup type of a team right now. So check out the the Bruins. Boston Bruins get 4 for me, and then the Winnipeg Jets, if they stay disciplined and not get as many penalties as they have been the last, 5-6 games. They've gotten so many penalties. If they stay a little bit more disciplined and set up more shots, they can improve on their record, and their goalie is getting so good that these guys could probably be up in my top 2, top 3. So check out the Jets, check out the Bruins, check out the Wild, check out Tampa Bay Lightning and Nashville. And these guys are definitely teams to watch right now.
All right.
Jimmy Butler for the NBA got traded to the 76ers. Don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep.
I think it was a good move for Philadelphia, a bad move for Minnesota. I know Jimmy Butler wasn't that very happy in Minnesota, but that guy can ball, and Minnesota needed that. I also have a top 5 ranking for basketball right now.
Okay.
But I'm not going to get too far into it. But Toronto is going to be my number 1 right now. They cruised to a 4-0 trip on the West, and they're looking good. Portland Trailblazers are second for me. If you check out how well the Blazers are doing, when they get back from this road trip, we'll see how like really good they are, because this road trip's I think 6 games long, and if they do well on the road, they could probably get bumped up to 1 for me. Milwaukee, the Greek Freak is killing it out there in Milwaukee, dude. I'm telling you, man. Antetokounmpo is smashing, and the Bucks did a 2-2 road trip, but the Bucks are still legit. And the only reason why they lost to the Blazers is because they had a 16 for 21 mid-range, and the Clippers were the first team in the first team that beat the Bucks in the paint. So that 2-2 match was pretty rough. Or the 2-2 record is pretty rough for them. Golden State, a fracture in the locker room between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green is making me bump them down a whole lot right now. And Steph Curry's out, so they're getting my number 4 slot and quickly getting lower. And then the Nuggets don't have a loss that wasn't within 5 points in the last 5 minutes, but they do have a 3-game losing streak, having shot 0-6 and committed 9 turnovers on clutch possessions against the Grizzlies, Nets, and Bucks last week. The slump is starting to look real, which is why I'm bumping them down to 5. So check out those guys. Check out those teams. And we can start talking a little bit more baseball or basketball and some hockey. But, I mean, do you got anything else to talk about at this point?
Well, no. I mean, I think you've convinced me to start watching basketball again. It's been so hard to get into it when you have a team who's just sitting there with,
I saw that.
What, 5 all-stars?
It's rough to watch, but the rest of the league is looking good.
I mean, that's great, but I mean, if I already know what half of the championship games are going to be.
Well, I don't know if the Lakers are going to be making the.
I wasn't talking about the Lakers.
Oh, okay. We won't touch that one. Okay. So normally our show is an hour and a half.
Where's the bottle opener?
I tried, but there's not enough ledge that comes off of it. I can't do it.
Where's the bottle opener? I'll open it.
Normally our show's an hour and a half, but I feel like we've kind of run out of a little bit of stuff to talk about here.
Before we end, do you want to talk about the Senators there and that
Okay.
whole
Yeah, go
thing?
for it. Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
Well, I don't really have much to really say on the matter. I mean, all right, so you're in Phoenix. Local law is that one-party consent gives you the right to film somebody. The driver was the consent there.
I didn't hear about this. What?
Oh, you didn't hear about the Uber driver that gave I think it was 5 different Senators players, well, they're on one car, rides, and they videotaped them all talking trash about the assistant coach and like how bad.
Ooh,
Yeah, bro.
what?
Yeah, and
I
then
didn't hear about
he
this.
put it up online, and everyone has just been losing their shit about it.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that
I didn't know
happened.
you didn't know that. I mean, that
Yeah,
has
I
been
didn't-
all over everywhere.
I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I can't fault the players for that because it doesn't matter whether you're a professional athlete or whether you work wherever. Everyone complains about their boss.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's just what people do. Yeah, it's crappy that ended up online, but with the way the law is written in that particular city, it's not technically illegal.
Nope.
And he has that driver has been, I don't know, fired or,
Let go or whatever.
whatever by Uber. So yeah, he will never be allowed to drive for Uber again. But technically, he didn't break the law.
That's crazy. If I was in that standpoint, I would. I don't. Why did he get fired? Just for violating their Privacy Act?
I think mostly it was just because people saw it and they were just kind of like,
Wow.
I think Uber was just getting they were just getting some heat from being like, the driver was allowed to film his passengers, and he said it was for security purposes. And I mean, if I was picking up random people, I would videotape them too
Absolutely.
for security purposes.
People videotape outside their house all the time for security purposes.
Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Personally, you're in a public place. I would be under the assumption that I'm on camera or somebody's listening to me at all times anyway.
Right.
Because
I wouldn't talk bad about my boss at that point.
no, but I mean,
Everybody talks bad about their boss, though.
everyone talks bad about their boss. And when do you get an Uber?
Not very often.
Well, when you're trying to get home from a bar and you're all liquored up,
Yeah.
and you're not thinking straight.
Yeah.
But
Damn, bro.
and also what they were saying though, it's not like they were calling him names or being mean spirited or anything.
They were just judging his coaching tactics.
Not even like that. They're just like, when we go in and we watch film, all he does is say, obvious stuff and doesn't really teach us anything. And
Right.
Another guy was like, yeah, I haven't really been paying attention for the past 3 weeks.
Oh, damn. Okay. That's
And-
not that bad.
I mean, no, they weren't slamming the guy. It's
Right.
not like they were calling him names behind his back or
Right.
talking a bunch of dirt or anything. We're just voicing in
Frustration.
frustration for a crappy record and for losing games that, maybe
Shouldn't have been losing.
if they had gotten some actual feedback on their game tape, they wouldn't have lost. And
Damn.
these are professional
Have you
athletes.
watched the videos?
Yeah, I
Okay.
watched the video.
I'll have to watch them, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Man, and it's not as bad as it sounds, but yeah, that's been a whole thing. I think it dropped on Saturday or
No,
Sunday.
I didn't see that
Yeah,
at
no,
all. That's insane.
It's been a whole thing for the last couple of days.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Damn. Okay.
I have a question. Why did the Seahawks lose their spot Sunday night?
So I don't understand the reasoning behind it. But-
spot on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got flexed. The
Oh, I didn't
Seahawks
hear
got
about that.
the Seahawks got flexed. So they were playing Sunday night,
Yeah.
right? And they got bumped to 125
Yep.
This week.
Oh,
for next week.
it's been replaced by Chargers and Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's gonna be a better game
Yeah.
than the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Probably
So
what it is.
that's probably why. Primetime, like you were literally just saying.
They put
Monday
San
night-
Francisco and the Giants on prime time.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to watch the Seahawks play against the 49ers this year, man.
No one wanted to watch the San Francisco 49ers play against the Giants on
That's true.
Monday.
Hey, that's true. That's true, man. I'm
Although-
not saying it's a good call or a bad call for them. I'm just saying it.
I guess it would make more sense though on Sunday because it's like, you're already in the city.
Right.
That's fine. Rather than messing up, being off by a whole day.
right.
Yeah, it says here the solid matchup between the Steelers and the Chargers will draw the Sunday night crowd instead. Basically,
That's-
just saying
yeah.
the
That's,
bigger crowd of more
Yeah,
money.
Who's Sunday night football
Yeah.
competing against? NCIS?
that makes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much though. I got you. Well, and from what I understand is, and this is just what I've been hearing, is the numbers that they've had for primetime football this year has been pretty low in comparison to what it's been the rest of the years because of matchups like San Francisco and the Giants. So I'm pretty sure that maybe putting San Francisco in
Political rant, but I think after what happened last year, NFL numbers have been on the decline.
that's probably true. That's probably
And
true.
I
as
don't
well.
think that I need to go into any more detail about it than that.
Wow.
Everybody who watches football knows what I'm talking about. Right, wrong, or indifferent, doesn't matter. Football numbers went down
because
after-
of it.
after that started.
Yep.
I'm sympathetic with the plight, but
I get what you're saying,
that's as
for
much
sure.
as I'm going to say.
Yep. I got what you're saying. Well,
And to answer William's question there, we don't watch college
we
football.
don't watch college football. I just don't like watching people get steamrolled as bad as teams get steamrolled. It's just not entertaining or fun for me to watch. So, some people like watching it. I don't.
And
but-
big shock, neither one of us went to college, so
I don't have. Yeah.
we don't have a team to root
Yeah,
for, so
I don't either.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
Another thing I was gonna say is late, but happy Veterans Day to all of my vets out there. The only college games that I do pay attention to is the Army-Navy game because of that.
Yep.
And the Apple Cup because of Washington. We're in the
Absolutely.
Seattle area. So I don't really watch college football, but late Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all of the vets. And,
I guess you would say Happy Veterans Day.
what's wrong with saying Happy Veterans Day?
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I guess never see any cards for it, but yeah,
Yeah,
Happy
right.
Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Yep. And other than that, do you have anything else to talk about?
No, I think we've covered all our bases on that
Okay.
one.
So, I just wanted to say,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. What's up?
talk about, because next week is Thanksgiving.
Yes. Next week is thanks. But
Yes.
next week is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. But that's on Thursday.
That's
Never
on
mind.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we were gonna,
I plan
be a
on
day off.
I plan on doing it again on Wednesday. I mean,
Okay.
I don't have anything, so we'll be live again next Wednesday. And I think that's pretty much it for us, right?
That's all I have.
Okay, so guys, we have a little bit of a sponsor, a little bit of plug that I'm gonna drop. So if anybody is watching in the Everett, Seattle area, if you're watching in that area, if you go to Tabby's Coffee, that is by the or it's actually connected into the Everett Community Library. If you go in there, Tabby's Coffee, and you tell them that you heard on Talk Interference Sports that you watched the show and you were told by us to go and see her, you get a 10% discount. So go get some coffee at Tabby's Coffee. It is located at 2702 Hoyt Avenue in Everett. And you can tell her that the Game Changer Sports Boy sent you. So get that 10% discount, get some coffee, and we'll go ahead.
Caffeine,
we'll go ahead and be live again next Wednesday.
Yep.
Roughly around 5. And we're cutting it short, but
bring your family in.
Bring your family. Start watching.
Watch it. Yeah, get the fire going.
Yeah, just put an HDMI cord into your computer or your phone.
Yeah, put it on the big screen.
Yeah, watch us live, guys. We're good, man.
Yeah, we're excellent.
We're so good. Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for NFL Addiction for letting us post on your guys' page. Thanks for taking us in. Thanks for supporting us. Game Changer Sports Network. Thanks for taking us in. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for letting us post on your guys' page. We're Talk Interference Sports. We got an Instagram, a Twitter, Facebook page, all that stuff. Look us up. And we're out.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee. Good way to go out, man. Love you guys.